Rush on drugs.
Is Wesley Clark going to ask for me to get fired because I said that? Even though I said I don't endorse that, I'm just saying it. I'm not endorsing it. I'm not really recommending it. All right. Rush Limbaugh is...
on the hot seat still.
Rush Limbaugh is on every day here at WLS at 11 o'clock in the morning, has been for many, many years. And there have been controversies here and there and everywhere. Now he has really stuck his finger in it.
The griddle is sizzling.
And so not only do we have him resigning from ESPN, from the sports job, late last night, but now a New York newspaper is releasing this story that he is supposedly hooked on painkiller drugs, and that this housekeeper supposedly supplied him with thousands and thousands of prescription
and even
drugs.
has email to prove it. So,
and so anyway,
we'll get to that.
There's all of that. So we need your opinion on Rush. What he said, was it racist or racial, and what's the difference? Plus, toss in the drugs. And we'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes, okay? Our number's 591-8900, 731 WLS.
Sunny skies, 32 degrees in Chicago.
Rush Limbaugh, make the connection. Weekday morning starting at 11 on Chicago's News Talk 890 WLS.
7:38, 22 until 8 o'clock with Don Wade and Roma. Rush Limbaugh has resigned from ESPN, his sports job on TV. He's still got the radio gig, and that may have something to do with why he resigned the TV gig, so that it wouldn't splash over there. And who would be at the forefront of the splash on Rush? It might be people like, well, there's Wesley Clark, he's one, Howard Dean's another, and Al Sharpton's another. They're all running for president.
But how do you explain the housekeeper who has now handed over, she wore a wire because she was dealing in black market drugs. These are things that you can get by prescription, but that if you get addicted to them, you need more and more and more, apparently, like the OxyContin. There are 3 different kinds that are named, but they're painkillers that she claims he was hooked on, and that she got him over 4,000 in 47 days of the little blues.
Let me see. If you get used to OxyContin, let's maybe we could go to somebody who's a doctor or a nurse on this, or a pharmacist. This woman who claims that she has tape recorded interviews or exchanges of drugs with Rush Limbaugh. She says in one of the emails that she claims that she got, she says Limbaugh pushed her to get more little blues.
Little blues.
Code for OxyContin. Now, am I wrong that little blues?
You're going to say Viagra.
Yeah, Bob Dole starts talking about those little blues, and I'm wondering if that wasn't what Rush was looking for.
Well, they say they have the hard drive from his computer, that the housekeeper nabbed the hard drive. These aren't just copies of email.
Really?
But that she's got the hard drive. And it sounds so unlike him that he would write email to buy black market drugs. Does that make sense?
I'll tell you what.
Anyway.
It could be. Maybe he planted this story because it's his excuse. It's like I didn't know what I was saying on that ESPN show.
Drugs.
I was completely loopy on OxyContin, and you can't blame me. Right? I mean, it's worked for everybody else. Right?
Okay, here's an email from Lisa about Rush. She says, Don, you're wrong. This is exactly the kind of conversation that takes place in sports bars and living rooms all over the country. This is not like saying your daughter is ugly. That's a matter of opinion. This is a matter of numbers, stats, facts. His numbers show he's not that great, so why isn't anybody saying it? I think this guy is getting a pass. That's what Rush said, because he's black is not a racist comment. it may be a racial comment, but it's not a racist comment. And then she refers to, it's nothing like Jesse Jackson referring to New York as Hymietown. That's racist. What Rush said is racial.
Yeah, that's interesting. Dave, behind the Cheddar Curtain, emails regarding Jesse Jackson's condemnation of Rush's words, which is a big story in the Sun-Times today. Says, while I don't agree with what Rush said, I don't believe that Mr. Hymietown has any business condemning anyone else's public comments. Thank you, Dave. Believe me, there's a stack of stuff about the Jesse Jackson criticism, but it's, Jesse Jackson has a way of, escalating things. And when Wesley Clark jumps in and Al Sharpton and Howard Dean bring it to the presidential level, Rush isn't stupid. He says, I can see the writing here. So let me play for you the clip. I want you to listen very carefully here because the question is for you. You are the most intelligent radio listener in the world. I want you to listen to the sum total of what Rush Limbaugh said that is at issue. I want you to listen to this, and then you tell us, is what he said racist or racial? And what's the difference? Here's what he said.
I'm sorry to say this. I don't think he's been that good from the get-go. I think what we've had here is a little social concern in the NFL. I think the media has been very desirous that a black quarterback do well. We're interested in black coaches and black quarterbacks doing well. I think there was a little hope invested in McNabb, and he got a lot of credit for the performance of this team that he really didn't deserve. The defense,
Bob, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I'm a recovering Vicodin addict, and this alleged Vicodin addiction on the part of Limbaugh.
Yeah.
Vicodin, and this has been confirmed by the manufacturer. The manufacturer says, in rare occasions, can cause rapid hearing loss, including permanent hearing loss.
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Very funny, Don. Gosh.
I think it's possible. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can. I was making a smart remark.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
That was sort of a joke.
I've heard some of the allegations. I guess it's a National Enquirer story.
Yep.
And
New York Daily News today.
Anyway, the stories of Limbaugh's behavior I just relate to. And I don't know. I hope he answers it very honestly.
I do too.
Yeah, and comes clean about it.
I do too.
I better get off myself. Well, thanks, guys.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Here's a question I wanted to ask of somebody who's got a PDR or who's a pharmacist or whatever. The woman referring to these as little blues, OxyContin, are they blue?
I don't know, but we are getting calls from people saying you don't call them little blues, you call them OCs. That's the term for addicts to OxyContin. And she says OxyContin, Lorcet, whatever that is, and hydrocodone. And that Rush went through drug rehab twice.
He went through drug rehab?
That's what they said.
Wow. When did he do the show direct from the detox center? I don't recall.
According to Wilma Klein. Is this just a sudden blitz? Because we're getting email from people saying it's all because we're going into a presidential campaign and he's the biggest enemy of the Democrats there is, and they're out to get him. The long knives are going to get.
Don't you remember the week that he did the show with his co-host Robert Downey Jr.? You don't remember that when he was hold on, let's go to Mark, who's in Naperville. Mark, welcome to WOS.
Good morning.
Hi, Don and Roma. How you guys doing?
Okay.
Good. I've been listening to Rush for a long time. This whole comment yesterday was really about on the weekend was directed at the media. It wasn't directed at McNabb, and it was directed at the media for the media. He basically said that they were being positive, wanting to see a black quarterback succeed. What's wrong with that? That's a good thing. And this thing about this drug thing, what if he really is really sick? And this is not just because. It's encouraging to me that this painkiller maybe did cause his hearing loss, because I thought it was worse than that. I thought maybe there's something wrong that he's not telling us.
Something bigger and far more serious.
Yes, and I really am concerned about that. I think that could be true.
Well, we're getting a lot of calls from people this morning who are addicted to Oxy or OC or whatever they call it, saying that they two have been hooked on this, and that it's a very dangerous painkiller to get started on.
Well, I hope he's okay, because he is a good person, and I think he's good for the country. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark.
He's going to be speaking, of all places, in Philadelphia today at the NAB.
That's the National Association of Broadcasters.
That's this morning. And I'm sure it will cause
Well, I'm
a
interested.
furor.
I know that we're going to be able to pick up a live feed of that particular speech that he's giving, which will be right around 8 o'clock our time, which is about 13 minutes away. That's if he starts on time, but you know convention speeches don't always start on time. But within a few minutes of 8 o'clock, and we're going to roll tape during the news.
I thought his speech wasn't.
If he actually makes any reference to this, then we will play that back immediately after the 8 o'clock news. Let's go to Eric, who's in McHenry. Eric, welcome to WLS.
Hi, how you doing today?
Good.
I really, I feel he's dealing with a racial issue, but it's not a racist statement, and I think he's dealing with the issue of the press, and it's not on a personal level. And I don't know if this came out before, but the way the show was set up, they have a practice session on this show the day before, and he plays basically a fan to the other guys who are doing the commentating. And
they described this as unscripted. This was a part of the unscripted exchange.
No. But it is considered unscripted. But he did bring up the issue the day before. They discussed it, and then they decide to bring it up and put it in the show.
Really?
So it was discussed the day before. He even said it on his radio station yesterday, exactly how it was set up, that he discussed it with everybody beforehand, and when they do like a mock show, show the day before the actual show. So, he said that during his radio show yesterday.
Yeah, well, look, what he said was not a horrible thing.
That's what I'm trying to say is that, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Nobody, like he said, nobody brought this up until like two or 3 days after it happened.
Yeah. It wasn't until the glowing ember caught fire and somebody said there's some political we can this thing's got legs. If we play this thing right, we can turn this little glowing ember into a forest fire.
Well, McNabb is blaming the guys on the show with him. He's saying that Michael Irvin and Tom Jackson should have spoken up.